Welcome to Get to Know Your Nation, episode 35, Paraguay. Paraguay is a really strong country, by the way. I believe, one of the three host nations that will be part of the 2030 World Cup, which will be a 100-year anniversary, um, joining Uruguay, Argentina, and Paraguay. Both will be the co-hosts of the 100th anniversary World Cup. So, Paraguay, this is their ninth World Cup appearance. They debuted in 1930, 1950, 1958, 1986, 1998, 2002, 2006, and 2010. The last time they were in that World Cup, they made a surprising appearance at the quarterfinals in 2010, in which that was their best finish. They're led by head coach Gavastor Alfaro, who has been in the World Cup before with Ecuador, of course, as his national team. Since then, he left there to go to Costa Rica. Things didn't go well there. And then he joins Paraguay to get that nation back on track. 8 wins, 6 draws, 4 losses. Not too bad for him, but he has a lot of work in his hands for this year's World Cup. Players to watch, obviously, there is some young rising players. One of them is Julio Encesco, forward for Strasbourg, 22 years old. He's a real young rising forward. And what I like about this World Cup is we're going to see those next generation players coming in to represent their nation. I mentioned Curacao, which I do want to. I'll save this for last about the Curacao because we have some news about Curacao. Then you have teams like Jordan, Uzbekistan, which will be the series finale for Get to Know Your Nation. There, we're going to see rising stars come in the biggest stage of them all in the 2026 World Cup. So Julio Cesco, who has been up and down, of course, he's been with Brighton, and then since then he joined Strasbourg, and he's been really tremendous under Gary O'Neill, plus Liam, who left to Chelsea, and since then Gary O'Neill took over the job. Miguel Almiron, midfielder for Atlanta United, 32 years old. Now he feels he is going to be a great player in that Paraguay midfield. The question is going to be, can he stay healthy? This is again last. Remember, he's been with Newcastle, Atlanta, won an MLS Cup, then transacted to Newcastle, won the Carabao Cup there, and then he returns home to Atlanta. And he's doing very well there with Atlanta United. Omar El defender for Sunderland, 29 years old. Real special player. I think he's a captain of this team, but he's really special. But he's going to do a lot of defending against this group, which this group could be promising, but it's going to be harder for them to win it. And then your goalkeepers, I think it's going to be Orlando Gil, goalkeeper, who is 25 years old. He is, of course, young, 25 years old. They could bring in an experienced guy. Who knows who? Well, time will tell. We'll see what happens. So let's go over their Group D. Now, they will start off in Los Angeles against the United States of America, or the U.S. Then they play Turkey, and then they play Australia. So, their best scenario is this. If they draw with the U.S., they draw with Turkey, and they beat Australia, that would be 5 points. I think the best scenario would be third place, and they could be one of those best of third place teams. And I think round of 16 is where I think they can end up, because they're going to be young. They are a young rising nation, but a lot of questions surrounding their young players. Worst case scenario, if they lose to the U.S., they lose to Turkey, and then lose to Australia, I think you go home early. And it's just because, yes, this group is hard. The U.S. they got questions too. Turkey, they got some young rising Turkian players coming in this year's World Cup. And then Australia, a nation that has remember last World Cup for them, they made it to the round 16 and they played competitive against Argentina. So they're looking to recap that magic they had in 2022. I think my thought is this. Earlier, I thought it would be a third place team because there's some questions about Australia's national team, but what I'm seeing is a young nation that is coming in with some questions. Is this young nation prepared for this World Cup? Can they be one of those third place teams? If you're looking for the best game for Paraguay, it's that USA game in Los Angeles, in SoFi Stadium. Yes, the US already beat Paraguay in friendlies, but those friendly games don't matter. When the World Cup is on the corner and you already faced this team, let's say 5 months ago, it doesn't matter what happened 5 months ago. You cannot beat the same team twice. It is going to be harder to get revenge. I think Paraguay is either a fourth place team or a third place team. There's going to be some questions I already mentioned, but that game against the USA could be the most important game for Paraguay. Another one is Australia, because if third place is on the line, Australia and Paraguay, one of those two nations could earn their spot for a best of third place spot. So right now I'm battling between Australia in third and Paraguay in fourth. But again, we'll see what happens in those as the World Cup is right on the corner. That's it for Get to Know Your Nation episode 35. Episode 36 will be Portugal. And before I send it off, Curacao fans, breaking news: your head coach is coming back. Yes, Dick Aaron Brad, I believe, has announced that he is coming back to the 2026 World Cup after he left the nation 2 months ago, I believe. Their coach only coached this national team two friendlies, but now he is coming back and leading this nation to a World Cup promise. If you haven't seen my other videos, go check them out on my channel. Of course, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for more sports news.